What's up, YouTube? It's Kenny again. Please excuse all the background noise. Hopefully that's going to be sorted out. I apologize. I know I haven't made a video in a while, but you know, got back out on the road a couple weeks till I got a full paycheck. I made a video talking about stocks and I didn't put it up. It had some other stuff in there too. But I just wanted to talk. I'm motivated to while I'm riding down the road here. I'm currently in Wisconsin, headed towards Springfield, Missouri. So the phone thing, well, first of all, my kid's phone finally took a dive. It wasn't quite paid for, so I paid it off, bought her a new phone and sent it to her. So that set me back about $1,000 and got me to thinking I should get a new phone. I mean, I've got this S22 FE, and you know, I got it because it takes good video and you know, off the selfie camera. And I think I'm going to upgrade to the Pixel 8. So I've been systematically thinking about how I can get my bills down even further, and doing a lot of math on the VANLIFE stuff. And one of the things that I was going to try to do was get on Mint Mobile to reduce the cell phone usage bill, to reduce the cell phone bills. And man, they really, like, I tried to pay them twice. I was going to get that phone for my kid and pay a year up front as service for her. And twice I sent them the money. The first time through the website, I did everything through the website, sent the money, used PayPal. It said okay, and then it's about 30 minutes later it came back and said it was refunding me. So I called and went back and forth with him, and he said something about a glitch potentially, and that when the refund was processed I should call back and do it over the phone. He expedited the refund or something. It came the next day. I called, I did it over the phone, tried to process it just straight with my debit card, and it rejected it. And so they were like, well, let's use PayPal. We never have any problems with that. So I was like, okay, so we did it with PayPal. We even tried changing the address they were using because I recently changed mailing addresses and stuff. Anyway, then we it wouldn't take the debit card, so then we did it with PayPal. It appeared to have gone through. They suggested that I call my bank. I called my bank right after I got off the phone with them. They said, yeah, they see it. There's no problem with it, whatever. A couple hours later, rejected, refunding me. I'm like, y'all don't want my money or what? So I called them and I was like, you know, trying to get to a boss and say, what's the deal? Because after some Googling, I saw that a lot of people apparently have been having that problem off and on for years with them, for a couple of years or whatever. And anyway, so I'm going a different direction. I'm going to stick with T-Mobile for now. I went ahead and I ordered the phone for my kid straight from Google. So that's going to be taken care of. Anyway, that's just kind of a rant about Mint Mobile. Like, I was really like, I went through and put stuff on Data Saver and stuff to make sure that I could make it with 50 gigs or whatever. And I was looking forward to that. That was going to cut my bill way down. Anyway, I'm going to get myself a Pixel 8. I don't know exactly when, but yeah. So I did a bunch of math on the VANLIFE stuff, all right? I've been working on an Amazon lists for VANLIFE stuff for quite some time, and so I went through and curated those Amazon lists and went through and added everything up, and I've got it figured to where
exit right onto I-39 toward Bloomington.
I've got it figured at if I spend $5,000, basically I've got it figured at $13,500 to complete the project. That includes $5,000 to take the van to the mechanic. Shut up. That includes $5,000 to take it to the mechanic the next time I'm in town. I didn't get that done this time, but this next time I go into town, the van is going into the mechanic. I honestly do not think I will spend $5,000. I'm going to have a mechanic completely look it over as much as I can get him to look it over and replace stuff that needs to be replaced. I've got a few specific things that I want done, but I honestly do not think that it's going to cost me $5,000. Anyway, even if it does cost me $5,000, we're looking at about $13,500 to complete the project, and that'll be the solar, the build out, the mechanic work, and I'm sitting on 12 in the savings right now, plus some in the checking.
2 miles. Keep right onto I-39 toward Bloomington.
Okay.
Speed limit reduced ahead.
Okay, speed limit reduced. Okay. She is just needy today. So, I'm there. I mean, I got 12 grand in the savings right now. I did just have to drop this $1,000 and stuff, but I've got enough money in my checking right now to cover 2 months of bills. So the rest of the time that I'm out here until the rest of October and almost all of November, I'm still going to continue to stack money. And my hope is that when I get back in there and put it in the mechanic, that I won't even have to pull anything out of savings to pay for the mechanic stuff. We will see how that plays out. But, basically, I'm there with the money. I'm there. I've got enough to finish it. I've been thinking a lot about the solar. I've gone through multiple different thoughts about how I want to do it, and I've still got multiple ways that it may come together. But I've been
half a mile. Keep right onto I-39.
I've been running a whole bunch of numbers on the solar, and not necessarily trying to get the cost down or anything, but just like thinking of what's the best way as far as some expandability into the future maybe, and what's the best, really the best charging strategy. Initially I wanted to do 1,200 watts of solar on the top of the
Keep
van.
right onto I-39 toward Bloomington.
I think I've settled on 8, and that on a full day of good sun should get me about 3,000 watts of solar. And I'm also going to put a DC to DC charger, and I'm kind of back and forth over whether I'm going to do a 40 amp DC to DC charger, which would get me, 500 watts per hour of driving, or a 50 watt, which would give me about 750, something like that, 700. The 40 watt would be better on the alternator, because those things put a big strain on the alternator of the vehicle. That's where they're charging from. So the smaller you go, the less of a strain it puts on that alternator. Doesn't wear it out and tear it up as fast, So that's a consideration. And then I've looked at several different inverters. I've been looking, and I could go the cheap route and get a cheap inverter. And then there's also some really expensive ones that do all kinds of cool stuff. And the last two that I'm down to right now is either one from a company called Sun Gold Power, or this Renogy inverter, because I've decided that I want an inverter charger. I don't want just an inverter. I want one that will, give me my inverter function, allow me to plug stuff in, but also charge the batteries so that I can plug it into the wall, plug it into a generator. This will give me 3 different avenues of charging. And the thing is that a lot of the standalone chargers that I was looking at to do shore power or whatever, to make it so I can plug it into a wall, they just don't put very many amps into the battery. Even the one from Signature Solar, the 12 volt one, the biggest one they have, I think, is like 20 or 30 amps, which is not very much. I mean, you're talking about taking a very long time to charge those batteries that way. But the SunGold Power, that one's a beast. It will charge it at like 1,000 watts or something. The Renogy, I think that's probably the one I'm going to go with. I think it charges at roughly about what I'm going to get in solar, 600 or 700 watts is about what it charges at. And I think that's the route I'm going to go. And then, so if I do that and I buy myself a generator, then, and that generator is factored into that 13,500. So I get myself a little generator and that Renogy, then I'll be able to charge from solar. I'll be able to charge from DC to DC charging while I'm driving. I'll be able to charge from shore power, from a wall or from somebody's house, or I'll be able to whip out that generator and charge with that. So there will not be a time, no matter if it's rain, sleet, or snow, I will be able to charge that battery, keep that battery charged. And so with that said, I was looking at 280 amp hour batteries, which would have gave me about 7 kilowatts of energy storage in the batteries. And I think I'm just going to go with the 400 amp hour, which is, it's what, 5,120 watts. Man, I just think that's plenty. I think that's just going to be plenty, because I'm not going to try to run a window unit air conditioner. I am, and this is factored into that cost as well, I'm going to get the EcoFlow Wave 2 with the battery. So it's got its own 1,100 watt battery that'll air condition for about 8 hours. So you run it overnight, and then all you got to charge back up the next day is about 1,000 watts. And then heat, it does heat as well. But I think I'm going to go ahead and get a diesel heater anyway, because that heat eats up a lot of power. And then when you're going to need the heat, which is in the winter, you're not going to be getting as much sun. So I think it's worth it, and that's factored into this price as well. I think it's worth it to go ahead and spend the $150, $160 on a diesel heater and just have that in my hip pocket, and with that said, everything that I've got on this list,
Please slow down.
other than not being quite sure about the diesel heater, everything else on the list is stuff that I know I will use. I will use a generator. I don't know how much I'll use it, but I'll use it. And if I don't, I'll put it in my storage. If I find that I don't need it, I'll put it in my storage. And then like a ladder and some other stuff that I know that I'll need. And guys, I'll be set. And really, once I get it out of the mechanic, I mean, barring them telling me something horrible, which is not going to happen, okay? I just, realistically, I know enough about cars to know that there's not anything major that needs to be done. I mean, I'm just going to be, like, trying to take time off to work on it. After I get it out of the mechanic and get it mechanically sound, I think the next thing is going to be to start buying solar components. I'm kind I'm antsy about it because I know that Black Friday is coming before I even go back out on the road. So I'm going to be looking at deals, and there's a possibility that I may buy some of it before I even go in. If there's a really hot deal on one of the refrigerators I've been looking at, or on the EcoFlow stuff, I may buy something before I even go in and just set it to the side until I'm ready for it. Because I'm not going to wait until the next November for sure. So if I come across some really great deals on stuff that I've been looking at, then I may go ahead and pick it up. And that's where I'm at. And with that, let's talk a little bit about the stocks. I know probably not many of you watching this have stuck around very long enough to get to this part, but guys, stocks, Tesla and Palantir and Enphase and some of these stocks I've been talking about for years now are in a really good spot, and I'm having a hard time not increasing my positions in those stocks right now. There's been no bad economic news, or as far as the stock market is concerned anyway, and some bad earnings stuff and sector related stuff that's pushed some of these stocks down over the last couple of weeks, and I just having a really hard time not increasing some positions. I'm not going to talk in depth about moves I've made. I will say that I bought a bunch of AT&T because it was at basically a 30-year low, and it was the stock price was so low that the dividend it's paying, even after they lowered the dividend for the first time in 30 years, was 8%. So I bought a bunch of it just because that's a guaranteed 8% on my money. And I expect the stock price to go way back up. So not only is it 8% on the money that I've put in, but I expect to get, a good return on the stock itself over the next few years. So made that move. I won't talk about all the other stuff that I've messed around with, but just know, for those of you who are here from the stock days when that's all I was talking about, I'm still on top of it. I'm still watching all the content and paying attention to the market every day, and there's been a lot of times that I've wished that I had more income to throw into it, but ultimately it's van life right now. That's what I'm saving for. Anyways, if you just found the channel, you've enjoyed this video, hit that subscribe button, leave me a comment below, and I appreciate all of you guys watching. I'll see you on the next one.